What's going on, guys? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today I'm checking out the QSP Hawk, which is a knife that I've had in my collection for quite a while now. I got it in a Going Gear subscription back in August of 2020 and held it pretty regularly back then for a while, and then it fell out of the rotation, and honestly I forgot it existed for a while. And recently I was buying another QSP and I wanted to pull out some other QSPs that I owned and came across this and thought I'd make a video on it, just because it is a really nice knife and it's still available today. I was able to find it on Blade HQ for $97.65. And I would imagine if you shop around, you'd be able to find it for a little bit cheaper, especially with a promo code. So really reasonably priced knife, and especially for kind of the aesthetic that you get, it's a really like gentlemanly looking knife with these wood scales and the Damascus blade. And I'm probably not the person that's usually into wood scales or Damascus blade, but recently wood scales have been growing on me a little bit. I think it's because I have a lot of knives with micarta or G10 or titanium or aluminum scales. And this is literally the only knife in my collection with wood scales. And so even though it wasn't ever really my favorite or first choice when it comes to scale material, just the uniqueness for me particularly, I know there's plenty of wood scaled knives out there, but for me particularly, this being my only one, it's really been growing on me lately. And really like the aesthetic of this knife. The Damascus, I'm not sure if there's a name for the different types of patterns, but there's definitely, obviously, different patterns. This one kind of reminds me, let's see, I'm not sure how well that's picking up, but kind of reminds me of like the circle on a peacock feather. So I guess that's how I'd describe this Damascus pattern. Sometimes you have like the more wavy ones and different, I'd imagine it's how they're folding the two types of steel together. But really like the way this one came out. The blade itself is 3 1/4 inches long, drop point blade. The cutting surface is only 3 inches because you have this sharpening choil here, which technically you can use as a finger choil, but you're getting pretty close to the blade there. It's not a full-size choil for sure. The handle is 4.125 inches, bringing the overall length to 7.375. And it weighs in at 3.63 ounces, so not too heavy. And I am able to get a full 4-finger grip on this. Fits into my hand pretty well. I wouldn't mind an extra maybe 1/4 inch, but it's definitely not necessary. But I think it would feel a little bit more stable in my hand if I had an extra 1/4 inch. Again, I can get a full 4-finger grip, so it's not an issue. It's not like it's gonna slip out of my hand or anything like that. But for my preference, wouldn't mind a little bit extra length there. It is a liner lock, and the action on this is excellent. It has 2 different deployment methods. You have the thumb stud as well as the flipper tab. And it's on bearings, so it's pretty difficult to fail. It's really snappy, and I was actually trying to fail the flipper tab before filming this, and wasn't able to. No matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't fail it. And it's because, 1, it's on bearings, and 2, it has a pretty strong detent, and so you have to apply enough force here to get past that detent, and by doing so, it's enough force that it's gonna pretty much 100% of the time deploy fully. The same is true with the thumb studs. If you're applying upwards pressure, you're not gonna feel it, but you are able to slow roll it, obviously, if you apply outward pressure instead. So instead of pressing up, you press outward, you can kind of slow roll it, which in some environments you may prefer to do, especially like if you're in an office or something. This isn't what I'd call an intimidating knife. It's pretty gentlemanly looking and a little bit pocket arty, and so I don't think a lot of people would be intimidated by it, but non-knife people, when they see something that's like flipping out, they associate it with a switchblade, and you know, they can be easily intimidated. So you may want to slow roll it. It does have a lanyard hold here. I don't use lanyard holds a ton, but if you do, that's an option, as well as a right-handed tip-up deep carry pocket clip. Again, not a big pocket clip guy, but it is not reversible. So something to keep in mind if you are. Overall, I like the aesthetic of it. The action on it is excellent. the price point, under $100. It is made in China, but that's how you get under $100. And QSP makes excellent knives. I have about 5 right now. I think I already mentioned that I just ordered another, and all of them are excellent. So no complaints there. Let me know what you think of this knife. I'm gonna try and do more of these type of videos where I'm looking at some older knives in my collection. I have 1 or 2 videos up right now that are like that, but for the most part, I'm usually focused on new knives. But want to get, I obviously have the knives, so might as well make videos about them at some point. I'll try and keep it to mostly knives that are available, unless they're just interesting or something I want to show off. But for the most part, I'll look at older knives that are still available, because no one wants to watch a video on a knife you can't buy. I guess you can get them on the secondary market still. So let me know what you think of this knife in general, and I guess what you think about seeing older knives on the channel that aren't necessarily available. Would that be something you're interested in, or should I keep it to knives that are buyable? But yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, hope you have a great one.